So namaskaram, Guru Harikrishna Kalyanasundaram, Masterji. I'm so happy to see you in the Sri Rajarajeshwari Institute in Matunga in Mumbai. I have many fond memories of being there, so I feel like we have entered the home of the great masters and the hall where we see all their pictures up on the wall. So thanks for being with us here today.
Having me. Thank you very much.
So I'm really looking forward to this discussion of the spectrum of Bharatha Natyam when it comes to rhythm, choreography, that kind of thing. To introduce you, I would like to share this video that is, I think, the perfect introduction to your past, present, future, and also gives us a glimpse and a picture of your journey with Bharatanatyam in your family in Mumbai, and it'll be a nice thing for us to watch and to share with everybody. Okay, let's start
சங்கீதம் தெரியும், அவங்க மிருதங்க வாசிக்க தெரியும், தானே ஏறி ஆடக்கூடிய ஒரு राजन जी ने अपने गुरु से सीखा
उसके बावजूद हम लोग गाते बजाते थोड़ा थोड़ा अलग हैं। वो क्या है कि वो सबको देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, रास्ते में कोई आवाज़ आ गई, कुछ आ गया, तो वो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में स्टोर हो जाता है और वो फिर ऐसी महफिल में निकलता है। तो हरे कृष्ण जी को क्रेडिट इस प्रकार से जाता है कि इन्होंने अपने पिता से सीखा है। अब सीख करके जो इनको अंदर से जो भाव आया वो ये था जो आज हमने देखा। हरे कृष्ण जी उनके बेटे हैं, अद्भुत चमत्कारिक उनकी थिंकिंग है। वो उनको क्या है कि पुरानी ट्रेडिशन को रख के और नया नया ये नहीं कहूँगा कि ट्रेडिशन को तोड़कर, नहीं, इज ए वंडरफुल। मैंने इनके भी साथ काम किया है।
If Harikrishna had done something, it's all because of his blessing. We have been there in the tradition, in the family for the last nearly 8 generations. But what he has done is something very marvelous. We are all very proud of this one. And find excellent support to this young budding artist and a very dynamic guru.
Wow. That was it was such a nice feeling to see everybody, but also it gave such a good overview of, you know, all the different roles that you have played and that you continue to play in Bharatanatyam. So I wanted to, that what immediately struck me was this aspect of the interrelated, you know, nature of dance, classical dance, of music, composing, uh, you know, how you've played mridangam, you danced, choreographed. There's so many different aspects to being a Bharatanatyam artist or to pursuing Bharatanatyam. And I don't think that, you know, you can have one without the other or without another, without. So I wanted, you know, I have to say that from my own personal experience, I first met you when I was dancing and you were playing mridangam. So this is many, many years ago. So you started off, I know that in the Rajarajeshwari programs, you were playing mridangam for a lot of the artists, and then you evolved to dancing, then conducting, obviously, and composing and choreographing. So can you talk a little bit about, you know, how your own personal journey evolved with what was happening with the institute, and with, you know, watching your father, watching all the great masters?
Well, to be born in such a family, it is, I have only to thank God. So as you're a small baby, your Tauji, your uncle, who is your guru also, my Periyappa, Guru Mahalingam Pillai, and you are in their labs listening to Jati, seeing them think, maybe not understanding at that age for sure. So what attracted me in the journey was first the rhythm, mridangam playing. And in our family, it was quite important for a Natonar to have the skill of playing the mridangam and languages, to have and learn classical Carnatic music. So my guru was Guru Alamelu Mani, who is Brindama's student, and so I was fortunate to have very good gurus, and my Mridangam gurus, late Karikudi Chandramoli sir. And so when I used to accompany in class, first I was not immediately initiated into playing for performances. There were dual roles that used to happen. I used to watch not only how they taught, but also what they would like for a given phrase to happen. And that was knowingly or unknowingly a lesson in laying out a given phrase, whether it was playing in a class for Guru Malingam Pillai or for my own father. And then the rehearsals and programs much later, when you're in your teens or later, you understand deeper the dance slowly. And those practices, to be able to respect all styles, because they used to also interact with many other artists, and how I definitely learned, I believe in one thing is respect everyone, because therein lies your passion, and you'll be so much more passionate in your art. And in that journey, one led to the other, and mridangam playing definitely helped in understanding the spacing of a given jati or a padam, or how to play for a jati swaram, how to play for a nataraja padam, wherein the flourishes are more, but how to tone it down when you are playing a javali or a padam, or even a bhakti items like Krishnani Begane and such others, and bring it up in Tilana. So that was the first step, and playing in different spaces, different stages in India or abroad. Each was a learning experience. The space taught you a lot. The people, even many things evoke in you something to try, fail, learn, and present it again. So that was a little bit of mridangam, which helped in dancing. Many times my Peripa in certain classes used to say, get up and dance this sequence. So I had to also memorize compositions, which was not just accompanying them, like, let me try and possibly show my skill. So I had to start retaining from a young age. So that was a learning, very important phase for me to learn compositions of different masters within the school, and that created a very wide number of repertoires, like many margams, and that definitely helped in my future when I used to dance, and also later on when I used to compose and choreograph, because that gave a lot of variations, many varnams, many padams. So the Krishna in a given varnam can enter in a stage left, stage right, or do whatever he needed to do. If it was seen from entry, or then the bhava point, or then the rhythm, or adding a tatetet, or whatever, you had such a bank to fall back on, which I think I was lucky enough to get when I was playing Mridangam, because that helped me retain the dances.
And then, so then you evolved into dancing, like you started presenting and performing. And so, because was it like that you knew that this was the path you were going to take, or were these choices that you made along the way according to what was happening and what you were experiencing?
So it was not a planned path at all. I was very keen and very happy in playing the Mridangam, but I started, the dance started drawing me towards it, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And said, I have to start dancing. If I have to be a good teacher, I felt I had to be on stage, then I would be able to understand it from another angle, and also try to bring that experience into my teaching, which might help the students navigate certain pitfalls that happen on stage, or when you get a bit too conscious, or when the floor is really bad, or unless you dance in different spaces, would you know what you need to do at a given space? And sometimes the space is small or wide, or like a trapezoid or something, and then how do you, or if it's the seating is like a slope, so how do you manage your chin when you're doing bhavas? That I definitely learned by performing.
Mm-hmm. But then when was the point that you saw that, okay, now I would like to, because it sounds like you were also being groomed, or there was this plan for being a Natwanar eventually, right? So in terms of, especially with the lineage and with, I know that from your family that all the sons and the daughters and granddaughters, it's not, it's a natural thing, but also not that everybody has chosen to pursue professionally as a career, right? So was it a conscious choice that now this is a moment that I'm going to shift into teaching and conducting and composing and choreographing, or did you pursue dancing and then at some point you changed your paths, or how did it happen?
To really put in that many more hours, and I like it. I wanted to stand in line. I didn't want to have any shortcuts. So I would say yes. I was coming to the first question as to groom to be a Natona. It was never a forced decision, but as you rightly put, yes, many took to it, but and many did not also. So it was how capable. It was purely the student or the child was now different. You had to do it correctly, because for them everyone is family, like you or everyone is blood related. There is no difference. So you had to prove yourself and go through the rigor. Having said that, what was the uh, turning point to say, okay, now I'll teach? I used to help in class also, and that used to help me also fix my dance. It really helps always.
Mm-hmm.
And but when you're very young, you want to keep performing and trying to learn more and share. So the point was, I felt while performing, I wanted the calling to teach started triggering it. So there are two callings that happen. Once while playing mridangam for a good number of years. I started in 86 or so. Good number of years, 20, 25 years I must have played. But around 1996 or so, while I was playing and I was also assisting in choreography and teaching or what you will call as rehearsal assistants in these days. So my father will set something and then he'll say, nahi baat ko. So chota chota kaam dete the, I mean small work like that, and I used to feel very happy to get that opportunity and try to remember what he's teaching. And I learned so much because I had to be attentive during that rehearsal. So that I think also started the second calling while dancing. I think I love to teach, and I loved music a lot. All of us do, and I used to write music. And then I have one principle: I never change anybody's choreography or music. So I thought, if I want to do something, then I should write music and do in that. Otherwise, I should stick to the set choreography. Usko, I don't have any right to tweak it here or there. I should present it. Or if it's a set song and it evokes the something from a, then I would change it from A to Z and not keep anything similar. Both. I say, shift. So I then thought, while teaching, I can do all this. So that was the second calling. While dancing, I thought this is more exciting and it's more challenging because you have to deal with from baby 6 or 8-year-old. By that you have to be very patient. By the time they are 16 or 18, they are ready to dance possibly. And then it's a fall first and get up later story. So you try something, you will fall. And then you're like, okay, it didn't work to this point or this point. And then you try maybe, and I've fallen many times. And,
but not on stage, right?
No. I mean, I must accept that it is a very different. I like it. What I want to say is, I like that, pull and push. That I like. That was that drew me to teaching. To try anything, but I'm thankful to God that He gives some very used to me to bring some good compositions out, or music compositions and varnams and programs. So I also realized I can't dance and teach, so I stopped dancing.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen, Vineet and I've seen your compositions, choreographies over the years, not lately, because obviously now we live in a time also that who knows when we will be able to be back in theaters and traveling and touring, but definitely, you have done so much work in India, all over India, and also still assisting your father. There's still the institute and the family and the productions that happen, as well as your own work. So looking at the video, I'm thinking also about Rajarajeshwari's place in Mumbai in the larger spectrum of Bharatha Natyam history. And, it was the first Bharatha Natyam school. Your family introduced Bharatha Natyam to Mumbai. And this was pre-independence, right? 1945. So that was such a also turning point for the classical arts. So can you talk a little bit about how it was like to grow up in this family, but also in Mumbai, and how, just from the video watching Pandit Jasraj-ji, it's so great, you had this, such a legend and such a great artist in your family circle, and it's a great loss to the world that he passed away just 10 days back, but his contribution, of course, is immense. So all those influences, and then Sitara Devi ji, you had so many non-Bharatanatyam personalities also in your life. How have all those influences shaped also the family, how you've taken Bharatanatyam forward?
So Mumbai, as you know, has a great mix of different cultures. Predominantly, it's a Maharashtrian, the capital of Maharashtra. Having said that, you have people who speak so many different languages, and are also there are the consuls from different countries. So it's a kind of the financial capital of India, and you also have Bollywood. So when you're growing up, your question, when you're growing up, there are so many different influences and culture that speak to you, and how being born in this family, you are because it is a pioneer institute, it is conforming to certain path of propagating the art, sticking to its own philosophy, I must say. The thing about such legends as Sitara Devi or Pandit Jasraj ji or many others is it open the mind to accept creativity. You can like or dislike the playing or the dancing, but you cannot say one person doesn't have art. इसमें कला नहीं है तो बिल्कुल बोल नहीं सकते. You know, so when you speak to them, when you hear them speaking to others, you're dragged along as a baby or as a young teenager or wherever, and you are thus exposed to so many views that you start, it becomes a part of your thought. And I must say they have influenced me in a manner that do your work very diligently, and that is a great influence. Second, their music or their dance, we might not be adapting for our repertoire, but their passion is what we looked at and got inspired, I must say. So, very inspiring personalities to have around. So your path, you got, even if you moved away, because life has its twists and turns naturally when you're growing, in your teenage or in your 20s or whatever, it has those turns. But when you have these personalities in the ring or circle, then you try to stick on, trudge on, no matter what.
Yeah, and so you didn't, often there's pressure or this feeling that this push and pull between what people want to see, something new, contemporary, or something that is not just doing what you've always been doing. Did you ever feel that pressure? Especially, I mean, this is of course such a big question that we all deal with all the time, because the world keeps changing, technology, all these things are evolving all the time. But how do you approach it when it comes to what you're doing with Bharatha Natyam?
I had two things, as I said, as growing up, very good gurus and great fortune to be born to Guru Kalyanasundaram. But I evolved my life into two things: the principle and the purpose of whatever I'm doing. Those two always dominated. So my principle and purpose of it. So yes, when you're growing, you see that there are bigger crowds. When you do X production or X thing, and we might not be doing that. But the numbers didn't matter for me because the principle mattered more. So for me. And I said, nay, I will do what I'm good at. Point number one, I identified that maybe this is what I'm good at. And two, I mean, there are so many people to do it, so I was pretty secure in that. I'm liking it. As I said, for me personally, I love to respect everyone. I respect their creativity. I will never say unke paas kala hai hi nahi. Hai kala. I pranam. Maybe I'm not capable. वो दूसरे हैं, better to say that way.
But that's like I mean, it's really commendable, because it is difficult, especially in any country. I don't think it's just in Canada or in America, to feel that you have to somehow change what you're doing or what you want to do for the sake of catering to an audience, catering to the world, what they what to catering to other people, basically, right? It's like, or to what they may suggest. It's about knowing what you want to pursue, or how you want to present something. And so
then if you know the word deeply and then you interpret it with a different take on it, it is important. I feel that you know the language quite deeply. There's nothing wrong in having your own interpretation, but it should fit in the Bhava Shuddhi or the Shabda Shuddhi aspect of the song and the composer's total in the flow of it. Because you would be able to make out what is the intent of the song in the first place and what is it trying to evoke. And if you're able to catch that and then give your own one small angle to it, wonderful.
So yeah, so it has never been that there is only one way of doing a particular composition, right? Or what is now recognized as a repertoire piece. It's not like there is a prescription or it's set down in a book somewhere that you have to do this varnam this way, that kind of guideline, right?
No. There is one form, that's all, in various schools. Now, earlier the form was strictly followed. Later, when it got accepted, I wouldn't say diluted or any other words, but later on, certain combinations were tried and people were able to accept that, and thus, as long as the jatis remained avartana shuddham and the bhava remained with the words and the interpretation and their take on it, if they want to just take off using a few words, it remained in the overall picture of that composition, it is accepted.
So, but was there ever a point that, in a particular varnam, I know when I was learning varnams that we knew that this jati comes here, and, and there was always an intelligence to how they were also placed in terms of the length, just, it all kind of made sense of how they were interspersed. But when say you or anybody starts modifying or changing jatis, is there ever a point where, or have you ever encountered where people say, no, you can't do that, or this is not allowed?
Luckily, I never tamper with set pieces. That's my personal principle. But supposing I was to reinterpret Mohamana Varnam, which is
right,
or Emayalatira, or I would stick, even if I'm writing new jatis, I will stick to a length which would match the bhava. It should, I feel, like you have a beautiful putti on your forehead, but just because I want to make it bigger, I can't put it. It might not look beautiful anymore. So it is like that. The proportion is very, very important. And I haven't encountered such situations because I am very careful to ensure that the aspect of abhinaya and is following what the elders have done. So I'm able to keep the length, width, size of it, even if it's a new varnam or a more contemporary artist. We all take different varnams of composers, Lalgudi uncle or Balamugli ji or anything. But then when you then you try to maintain the same proportion so that it doesn't, just fall apart.
So there's still that same kind of sense to how things are designed.
So very true, very true. Can evoke anything. So her question was, the Mishra Chapu or any tala has its own character, and Mishra Chapu has a character of the ta, ki, ta, ka, dim, tam, dim, ta, jam, ta, ka, dim, ta, jam, ta. You can do anything. The mridangist will come crashing in. He'll say, wow, I love this. But what is the call that you have to take? The call is based You have to reverse the call from the music always, I feel. We want to utilize all the swara and punctuate it. So, ni sa ga ni sa sa ri ga it might happen. But supposing you leave ni sa or ni sa can be also a pause in itself. So you can, I'm trying to let you know that you don't need to do everything in a given swara, even if it is giving some punctuations. A composition also has its own punctuations, correct? And you either go with the punctuation that or the accents that the composer has done, or we go cross rhythm, or the character of the tala. 3 parts. So, nisa ga risa nisa sa ri ri ga ma pa ni da pa ma pa pa dha dha ni ri ga ma ga ri sa ri ga ma pa da. If that happens, we go. The composition is giving some punctuations. You and I can come up with some calculations to go in that, or Mishra Chapu, take it and break it, and then join it, which also happens quite a few times, where the dancer, if she doesn't put her foot down, you will be taken in the flood of the ideas. I'm not saying it's wrong. All our co-artists give us a lot of ideas for the other dancers. In a Guru Parampara, what happens is we are trained to compose the music or do the dance and do the rhythm. Second thing, the length of each passage, if it is a Jati Swaram or a Varnam Jati or a second half Varnam Swaras, and the build up to it to the last Muktai Swaram and the Etikade Swarams till the end, should build up to 4, 6, 8, whatever, so that you are able to give a structure, giving the audience enough time to process. Because if everything is going to be huge, I think they might be, if I tell in Tamil, your stomach is full. By the third jati, you're like, the audience is like, take it. But if you keep very intelligently the second jati deliberately small, or you tweak it into, like tishrams are a very favorite part of everyone, then it you have to be intelligent that the tishram lands correctly,
right? Because obviously the old composite, the legendary ones exist, and they're in Telugu, Tamil, and Sanskrit and Marathi. But it's more about if you're creating new, how do you make that choice?
Like I mean, it is an individual choice, wherein your length of training will allow you that a sharp eye and a very keen ear for the poetry to evoke in you that, okay, I can expand on it, maybe movement or the aspect of telling story, or the emotion of it is very good, wherein it could be just about the state of mind. Because storytelling could have a lot of characters, and that so the language would be pertaining to that particular individual's either command or liking, and it doesn't matter in the adapting new compositions, if that is the question. Like when we look at some new compositions and it is in Hindi, Bengali, or Gujarati, or even Sindhi, or Shah Alam or something, whatever it is. So if a dancer comes across that, that is your question, right?
Yeah.
But how does she adapt that? By then, I think when she has reasonably danced many years, she is able to kind of come and arrive that, okay, this might be it's a good piece that I can adapt and expand on it for the 5 or 7 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on the poem or whatever song that is. I think it is an individual choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, this also knowing what you want to do or what you feel you can do.
In the order, I would say we can't let our gurus down when we are trying something new. We have to remember that. And like Bageshree said, the integrity. And if we are able to match everything, and of course, you have a keen eye and you can know that you need to make changes and make it a good piece. And you press the factor thus remains within your yourself and the piece of work that is coming, or you're drawn to the, like it's speaking to you, or it's glaring at you, like you turn a page of book and there it's like shooting out, and then you're like, oh, I missed it, and you want to go for it. Go, great, it's fine. Believe in yourself and keep going.
So thanks, Harikrishna ji, for being with us. I'm going to, I certainly enjoyed this discussion a lot. And I think, like I said, I wish we could go on, but another day.
Yes, another day. It is because it's such a wide topic. So thank you.